Hey, welcome to my vlog. My name is Ruthanne Martin, and today I'm going to be talking about why you should study abroad. So this video overall is just like, if you're on the edge, then like this is a video for you about studying abroad, or if you're just like, why would anyone ever want to do that, this is the video. I'm talking about why I think you should. If you haven't seen any of my other videos or you don't know me personally, then this part you wouldn't know. So skip ahead if you know me, but if you don't, I'm Ruthanne Martin. I'm 17, I'm a junior in high school. I do online school right now with Liberty University Online Academy, but my sophomore year, last year, I studied abroad in Spain. I was an exchange student, so I lived with a host family. I went to public school in Sevilla, Spain. So if you want to know more about like daily life, my school, things I wish I knew before I studied abroad, all sorts of things about my exchange year, then just go to my channel. Please subscribe, by the way. Please subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe on this video, please. But if you go to my channel and you scroll down, you can see a ton of videos about studying abroad. Anyway, so I studied abroad, so I'm pretty like expert on this topic. So we'll just go ahead and get into the video. The first reason I think you should study abroad, no, also this can be related to high school or college, but I specifically think high school is like the best time to do it. I mean, college is amazing too, but in high school you get a better experience with the culture because you live with a family more. You go to public school. I don't know, I think it's just a little different. So reason number one, you get to travel. That is so true. Also, sorry, I'm drinking out of my Wild Sips cup. People always ask me like, oh, have you traveled a lot? Like, what countries have you been to? And I'm always like, oh geez, because it's a pretty long list. For a 17-year-old, I've traveled, I think, a lot. So before exchange year, I'd already had traveled to like Mexico, Belize, Panama, Costa Rica, Haiti, probably a couple more I can't think of. But while I was in Europe, like while I was on my exchange year, so I traveled to Spain, obviously I lived there. I traveled to Portugal twice, once for a school trip and another time with my exchange program. I traveled, which was CIEE. That's another question I get a lot, CIEE. Anyway, that's the exchange program I used. I traveled to Paris, France. I traveled to Bulgaria. I passed through England. I went to Cyprus, Morocco. I spent a week in Morocco, a week in Cyprus, a week in Tunisia. I probably missed something, but anyway, those were amazing. Like, you got to travel. I got to see so much of the world. Like, that's just something you can't do all the time. Number two, I made a lot of international friends. That's like the coolest thing. So when you're an exchange student, you automatically, like, with other exchange students, you kind of vibe, you know, like you all understand each other, so you become really good friends. So I had a Danish kid in my school, which we became really good friends, and he actually invited me to go visit him in Denmark. So as soon as I can, as soon as quarantine's over, I'll probably go visit him in Denmark. But a really good friend, Fanny, in Germany. So I'll probably go eventually want to visit her. I made friends in England and Switzerland, Finland, I mean all over. I have friends. So it gives you so many connections. So anyway, you meet a lot of international friends. 3, learn a new language. Yes. So a lot of people do study abroad, like in a country that has the same language as them. I studied abroad in a country that had a different language. I think that's the best because you get to learn another language, which that's such a life skill. So I learned Spanish. I speak fluent Spanish. Like, here, all like, I think it's going to say, te puedo hablar español. Hablo español perfectamente. Trabajo en un restaurante mexicano y por eso hablo español todavía. Echo de menos mi familia y mis amigos en España. Tengo un acento americano, pero todavía hablo español bien. Okay, so that's just a little example. Like, I can talk way faster and do like say a lot more things. I just didn't practice anything. Like, I didn't think of what to say. So I speak perfect Spanish. I went into Spain. Okay, I don't speak perfect Spanish. That's a lie. I speak fluently. Like, they say you're fluent once you can like think in the language and like you dream in it and stuff. And I dream when I talk in Spanish. I don't sit here and think, what am I gonna say in English, and then say it. Like, I just say it. So that's why I love studying abroad, because like there was no way that I could just from school become fluent in Spanish. Because learning in a classroom is one thing. I had 2 years of Spanish before I went to Spain, but it's just not the same. What they teach you in class in the real world are different. New language, which it has provided so many opportunities for me. I work in a Mexican restaurant because I'm able to communicate perfectly with all the employees who don't speak English, and I can translate things like that. It also, I've heard that for a lot of jobs, it can give you a higher pay when you're just starting because you're bilingual, so you can communicate to a lot bigger clientele base. So speaking a new language is just like probably the biggest reason. Like, it's just such an advantage. Like, you can't learn another language. Like, okay, I'm white. Let's look at me. Like, white. Okay, no one expects me to speak Spanish. No one. So when I speak Spanish, they're like, what the heck? Like, no one believes me. I have to prove myself always to people that I speak Spanish, because it's just like, it's just one of those things to speak another language that you didn't grow up at the house in. None of that. Like, again, just living with people that speak that language, you learn it so much better. Number 4, learn a new culture. Like, you read textbooks about these cultures. I read about Spanish culture. They like a lot of wine, or they're very romantic. No. Good, you read about it in a book. Okay, now maybe your family goes on vacation to Spain. You spend a week there. It's still kind of like, okay, cool, but do you really know the culture? You see the culture, you observe the culture, but you're not part of it. You don't know it. So when you're an exchange student, you live there for 11 months, if you choose to, you can really get to know the culture. Like, even now, like, I defend my Spanish friends for, like, things like people will say here, like, oh, they're so touching your videos. They smoke, they do this. I feel like they're, like, my people. Like, I'm part of that culture, so, like, I can kind of defend it. Like, I honestly get defensive about it because, like, I'm part of that culture. I mean, it may not be my like the culture I was born into, but I feel like part of it because I really understand it. So it's just something else where you get to, like, learn the culture on a deeper level and really get to understand the people. Number 5, form your own opinions. So if you're studying abroad, especially in high school, this is probably the first time that you're going to be living away from your parents. So that's already, when anyone moves away from their parents, it's a very, like, formative time. I mean, you change a lot as a person. Imagine now, first time you live away from your parents in a foreign country where you don't speak the language, you form your own opinions, because for the first time in your life, your parents aren't telling you what to believe. So that's, for me, like, I'm a Christian. It put my faith to the test, but in a positive way for me, because I was really pushed to, like, own that faith, because now my parents aren't taking me to church every Sunday. Even though before I would take myself, honestly, but like, my parents aren't there to tell me what to believe anymore. So now it's the time for me to choose what I believe. And that, for me, like, with my faith, that pushed me in a positive direction because I really owned my faith and I really leaned into it. Also, with political views, it might change you because now you're going to be living in a totally different political type country. Typically, I mean, it depends on the country, but, like, for Spain, example, is totally different than the United States. So I was able to see the different sides of the political views, try to form my own. So I feel like it's really good for you to form your own opinions about the world, about what you want to be, what you want to do. So it's just nice to be away from your parents for, like, a year maybe, to just discover who you are without somebody telling you what you should be, things like that. So I really thought that's like another really big advantage. Number 6 is you become independent. This kind of goes along with that. When you're studying abroad, you are living with a family. They do take care of you, but you still have to learn to take care of yourself. They're not going to baby you. So you have to learn how to buy your own SIM card, how to pay your own phone plan. You have to learn to check your bank account, make sure you have enough money. You got to learn to make sure you do all your schoolwork. Your host family is definitely not going to hound you on schoolwork. They're not your babysitter. So you just have to learn to do things on your own, to be truly independent and do things by yourself. Next thing, number 7, open your eyes to the world. I was in Spain again. I traveled to, like, a ton of countries, like 8, probably not, I don't even know, a lot of countries. So I saw the world in so many different ways. When I was in Morocco and Tunisia, I learned about Muslim cultures, especially in Morocco. I learned about Islam, which my church, they'd already taught me a ton about Islam. But we learned a lot about Muslims. We learned a lot about, we talked, I mean, just like different things I did with my, during my exchange year. I learned so much about other cultures. I saw the world in a whole new way. I got to see, like, I saw poverty, a lot of poverty in Morocco, Tunisia. I got to see people living in different types of, different villages, living with different religions, different social structures within society. I got to see things that I'd read about in textbooks. So I'd read about camels before in textbooks. I know that sounds stupid. I've seen them in circuses maybe, but I'd never seen a camel just on the road in Morocco. You know what I mean? So it's like you take these things you've read about or these things you've seen on the news, and they become a reality. So, like, protests in Paris, okay, that's one thing. But then when you live there and, like, you're going to see it and, like, you see the protests, like, oh, these things become a reality. So I feel like it just opens your eyes to the ways of the world. It opens your eyes to the good and the bad. You get to see, like, how the world isn't so big. Maybe you meet people and you keep the connections with people and you realize how, like, small the world can be. But then you also realize, like, a lot of the pain and hurting you see in other parts of the world. The good and the bad. I mean, you see the good with the government and the bad with the government. I mean, there's just, you get to see the world. Instead of reading about it, you can actually see it firsthand. And I think that just, it shapes you into a more global and worldly person. And that also can make you very profitable for jobs. Because when you're older and you apply for a job, the fact that you've studied abroad helps a lot, because now you're able to understand people with different cultures. And so you don't offend them, or there's not any, like, cultural no-nos that you, like, bypass, things like that. You're just able to, being able to understand and be more worldly is just an advantage overall. And the next one Number 8 is you learn to handle money and take care of yourself. This kind of goes along with being independent, but again, like for me, my parents gave me a certain amount of money every month. I had to pay my phone bill, I had to pay for my dance classes, my horseback riding classes, my gym membership, and then if my friends wanted to go out or I needed a book for school, clothes, excuse me, orange juice makes me burp, school supplies, anything like that, I had to spend the money, but I had to budget it. I couldn't go spending the money all the time or I would run out of money. So it taught me how to budget my own money, which that's a huge thing that most teens don't know about. Because you also can't have a job while you're studying abroad. Maybe you can babysit. If you're studying abroad in the United States, you could babysit, and that's a big thing. But if you're studying abroad in Europe, there's not a lot of job opportunities, because the only thing you can really do because you can't get a job through the government. So like you can't work in a restaurant or anything like that. But you could probably babysit, but in Europe, babysitting I feel like is a lot less common. Okay, number 9, discover who you are. That's a good one. So you should study abroad because you're going to learn about who you are without your friends, your family, the place you grew up. You're going to learn about who you are, because I feel like this is such a cheesy quote, but the most growth comes when you're out of your comfort zone. So when you're putting yourself into like another country where you don't know anyone, you're going to really see who you are. The other thing I also talk about a lot is like when you study abroad, no one knows you. You're not popular, you're not so-and-so's brother, so-and-so's sister. You're the whatever country you are. So you're the Swedish kid, you're the Spanish girl, you're the American girl. So I was just the American girl. That was it, the American girl. They knew nothing else about me, just my nationality. So you can like shape yourself into who you want to be. So let's say you were mean before and you hate that about yourself. Well, now's your opportunity. Be nice as you want. Let's say before you were quiet, be loud as you want. I think I was the opposite. I was really loud when I lived in the United States, but now I'm a lot quieter, because I think when I studied abroad, I really learned to observe and just to take everything in. And I think I notice things now, like because when I lived in Spain, the first few months I couldn't communicate very well. I didn't speak Spanish. So I just had to sit there and observe. But I learned to like, language or not, I learned to just like observe people and be like, kind of like notice things about them. I don't know. So what I was saying before basically is you get to discover who you are without the place you grew up, without the people, just you. Stuck in the middle of a country you don't know anyone. You get to learn who you are, and I think that's the best thing, because a lot of us don't even know who we are because we live with these like expectations, these titles that our parents give us. I mean, my parents are amazing. I'm just saying in general. We just live with these expectations from society, and I think when you go into another country, you have a chance to just discover who you are with no pressure from anybody else. Just figure out who you are and who you want to be. Number 10, which my dad actually said this. I asked my dad in the car. We were driving at my lake house today. And I was like, what do you think I like should tell people, like why they should study abroad? And I thought this was so cute. He was like, tell them you get a new family, which that's so amazing. It's not I don't want to say new, but you get like a second family. My Spanish family is amazing. I literally call my mom and dad, like in Spanish. So like my mom, I call her mama, my dad papa. So like I have people always are like, which mom? Because I'm like, oh, my mom, and then they're like, wait, which mom? That's such a study abroad meme, but like if you say like, oh, my sister, all the exchange students are like, which sister? Because you really do have multiple. Like I have my Spanish sister Maria, and then I have my American brother Will, and then I have some other, and then I have my dad and my mom, my American mom like Laura and Richard, and then I have my Spanish Alicia and Antonio. So I have like 4 parents and 2 siblings, but they all, like 2 of my parents live in America and 1 of my siblings lives in America. 2 of my parents and 1 of my siblings lives in Spain. So you really do get a whole another set of family. Like I mean literally my Spanish parents call me all the time, text me, get mad at me if I do something I shouldn't be doing, things like that. Like they still parent me from like across the world. So you get a whole nother family, but that's the other thing. You have to, study abroad is amazing, and I think you should do it, but you have to make the most of it, which that's when you should see my video. It's called Things I Wish I Knew Before I Studied Abroad, something like that. It's a video I posted before this. With your host family, it can be the best experience or the worst. It's what you make it. So I just think, anyway, that's enough on that. Also, you get a second home. I consider Spain my home. A lot of times when people ask me, how'd you learn Spanish? I say I lived in Spain, or I just say I'm Spanish because it's a lot easier to explain. Because I really do feel Spanish in my heart sometimes. Like Spain will always be my second home. So it's just one of those things where like you get into their home. Another reason you should study abroad, you will make lifelong memories. There are some memories in Spain that I will never forget. Like funniest things, like us running through a field in the middle of the night trying to go, crazy things we did. Like just simple moments too. So one time I painted my legs, like we painted our legs so like with rainbows and butterflies, me and my Spanish sister. And that was so fun, like sitting up on the top deck of our like village house in the mountains. Just memories. Like these things, like I don't even know. It's just, you will make memories that you will never forget in your entire life. Like the exchange year, you'll never forget a lot of it. Next one, 12. Oh yes, lots of cute clothes. Oh, that's a fact. In Spain, Spain has really cute clothes, first of all, really well priced. I bought so many clothes. I went to Spain with 2 suitcases. I came home with like 6. I'm not even exaggerating, like 6. My parents came 2 weeks before I left. They came to visit for a week, and they took home with them. Each of them took home a suitcase for me, and then I took home like 3 when I went. So yeah, it was bad, but you get a lot of new clothes, which is amazing. I mean, you're like, the thing is, people always say, oh, ruthanne, where'd you get that shirt? And I'm like, oh, Spain. Like, no one has my clothes. Well, right now I'm honestly really basic. I'm wearing like thrift store clothes right now, but when I dress cute, I always wear my Spanish clothes because people are like, oh, where'd you get that? Like, I never have the same clothes as anybody because all my clothes are from Spain. That's a really superficial benefit, but oh, okay, these are all getting really superficial. Number 13, you will have a rad Instagram feed. That's such a fact. Your Instagram feed will be popping. Like, if you like focus on taking really fun pictures a lot of times, don't obsess with pictures, but do take fun pictures, because people always are like, they're like, my Instagram feed will never compare to mine, because like, every week I was in like a different country. Like, it would be like pictures of me riding a camel in Tunisia, next picture, or in Morocco, next picture me on top, like jumping out like this in front of some ruins in Tunisia. Then it was like me in like an ocean cave in Cyprus, and then it's like me standing in this like huge plaza in Lisbon. Like, your Instagram feed is just like, sometimes I get sad because it just like, my Instagram feed got so boring this year. It got pretty exciting the past few weeks because I went to Hawaii, but like before that was sad. Next, okay, now I'm getting to my last 2. I'm almost done. Just study abroad. This is my summary. Just do it. Like, what do you have to lose? Your life is just probably boring. I mean, I'm sorry, but like, that year abroad is amazing. It's just amazing. It'll change your life. You will come home. My parents always tell me that. They're like, we sent you away one person, you came home a different one. Came home more grown up, more mature. I came home a lot more worldly, and a lot more with like drive in my heart, like passion, just like for whatever. Whether I change passions daily, I still have passion for stuff. So your life will be changed. Like, you won't come home the same person you were when you left to study abroad. My last one, number 15, take a risk. Do it. Do it. Just do it. Study abroad. It's so fun. And get out of your comfort zone. That's where the most growth will happen. Out of your comfort zone. I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone who regrets studying abroad. Whether it's a good or a bad experience, you're gonna grow. Although I don't know that many people had a bad experience. If they had a bad experience, it's typically because of their host family. And if you had a bad host family, the first week you get there, you should change it. Change your host family. But this is the last thing I'm gonna say. Just study abroad. And if you have any questions, my Instagram is in the description. Ask me. I'll be happy. Literally, if it's your parents that are the issue, they don't want you to study abroad, they can call and talk to my parents. My parents would be happy to talk to your parents about studying abroad. You can talk to me. You can call me. Like, I'm not famous. I'm obviously, I mean, look at how many subscribers I have. Like, I'm just me, you know, and you're welcome to talk. Anyone's welcome to talk to you that have concerns about studying abroad, or if you're studying abroad right now and you're having a sucky time at it, or you just having issues. I'm really always here to help people, because there were so many people who helped me while I studied abroad with my issues, like, that I was having with like school and work and transferring credits, all that stuff. So if you have any questions, please ask me. I'll be happy to help. And just study abroad. I'm sorry, I'm getting something, but just do it. It's literally the best experience of your life. I'm so unique about, like, people always, like, whenever you get to that thing where it's like, tell a fun fact about you. I literally say I've studied abroad in Spain, where I lived in Spain. People are just like, what? It's so shocking. So you will always be that cool kid who studied abroad. So, I mean, just do it. What do you have to lose? That's the question for me. But that's my question for you. Maybe it's sports, but do they really matter? Think about the life experience you're gonna get versus that. Just think about everything you're gonna gain versus what you're gonna lose. Maybe it's not the right decision for you. If you're not super if you're not super like adventurous and like able to take on adventure, then maybe it's not for you. But if you love adventure and you want something new and exciting, then you should study abroad. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to comment or DM me. I respond really quickly, like literally probably within an hour I'll respond. And yeah, if you have any questions, please ask me, okay? And thank you for watching this video.